I'm Juan Francisco, and I'm a psychic medium. I'm here with you to explore your intuition, the supernatural, and self-empowerment. This is Third Eyesight. Hey everybody, I hope you're doing very well. And I feel like it's been a hiatus, but it hasn't, because the last 3 episodes I posted to Third Eyesight, I had pre-recorded before I went away, before I left New York City for about 3 weeks. And so it's been 3 to 4 weeks since I have recorded a podcast episode, and that feels very bizarre. But I'm back, even though I never kind of left. I am back. I'm back in New York City, and I was visiting some family in Delaware, and it was very lovely to visit with them for a long time. I also learned what kind of schedule I like to have when I'm visiting family, things I like to do for myself when I'm visiting family. And I also learned just how nice it is to be back in New York City in my own studio apartment and enjoying my own space. There's a lot of benefit to that. Recently, it has been, it has been such a tough journey, mini journey of integration. What I mean by the word integration is having gone through a period that I will go through again in my life. It doesn't ever stop. But having gone through a period in the last few years of learning how to love myself more, learning how to live a life of gratitude and joy, even with all the crappy things in the midst of it all, I still haven't fully integrated my learnings. I have slowly but surely, but I haven't really gotten to a point where I feel like the way I live my life reflects the learnings that I have. And right now I'm really feeling that. And it is tough. It is tough. It's not easy. And so I really want to integrate more of those learnings, and I want to make a change in my life. And it has to do with things in my life that I consider my hang-ups. I think we all have some hang-ups or things that we really want to improve about ourselves. And for me, those have just not really changed. And it's really up to me. It's because of me. I need to decide to change habits, change my outlooks on some things. So that's my goal. I'm gonna hold myself accountable on the podcast and share with you that is my goal, because I gotta walk the talk, right? I can't just talk the talk. I gotta walk the talk. I want to start with addressing a few questions that I got from folks on YouTube, and shout out to both Megan K, whom I've shouted out before, as well as someone that goes by Good Blooms on YouTube. Now, I'll start with Good Bloom's comment. It was a short one. In I think it was my last episode. It was the episode called My Strangest Experience as a Psychic Medium, where I go into my experience where I think I channeled an extraterrestrial, how did I say that the wrong way? An ET, a being who was an ET. If you want to listen to that story, go back to that. And I shared a comment that I don't believe in fairies. And Good Bloom said, can you discuss more about why you don't believe in the fairy realm, but still believe in spiritual extraterrestrial communication? It's a very fair question. And our friend Megan said, I am so surprised that you don't believe in fairies, fae. They just seem so obviously there. I'd love to hear more about your thoughts on that. And she also expounded on that and said, I definitely think it's just gotten popular in the US. It's historically been more of a thing in the UK. Maybe you could do an episode on different fae lore and what resonates and what doesn't. To be honest, I don't know much about it, but since I was a kid, I've been scared to say something doesn't exist because I don't want that entity to get mad at me. I know it's such a weird superstition. So I first want to address that last part, believing in something because you're scared to not believe in it. Before I get to the subject of fairies, I just want to say that I think if we're believing in something because we're afraid of something, I wonder if that is the the spiritual space that best serves you. And if it does, then ignore everything Juan. Juan doesn't know anything. Ignore Juan. But as for me, I want to believe in things that feed my soul. I want to believe in things because I've come at it from a place of love, not fear. Just like how I used to believe in hell. I used to believe that I was going to hell because I'm gay. And it just all came from a place of fear, and it didn't serve me. It didn't help me lead my best life. It's just like when people think the worst of everything, and there's a lot of reason to think that way these days. I get it. But when you think the worst of everything, you're not going to get anything but maybe the worst. I'm not talking about the news or things out in the world. I'm talking about things within your own life. If you expect the worst from people, you're not really going to get anything back from people. You're not giving people a chance to show you their best. And so I think it's important. This is where I think of law of attraction, even though I don't fully buy law of attraction for some personal reasons I've got. I think that there is truth to the idea of law of attraction where what you put out there as your energy or the energy on which you function, that gets returned back to you. That's how it's like you put on a certain type of glasses. Are you going to put on a pair of glasses of fear, and you're going to see the world through those colored glasses, or you're going to put on glasses of love? And you may still see some crappy things, but you're going to approach them with love instead of fear, with empowerment instead of disempowerment. So I want to start with that first. Now let's get into fairies. Now don't hate me, y'all. And this is the subject of the episode, AI, okay? But I did use ChatGPT to look up what spiritual people believe about fairies. I made it very generic because I don't know where to go for a source. And just for a disclaimer, what I know of AI and tools like ChatGPT is it's a conglomeration, it's a collection of data and information from across the internet. It is not reviewed data. So I'm not saying that what I'm about to read is completely accurate, but most of the time ChatGPT gets things right. Sometimes they don't. So be very aware when you're using a tool like ChatGPT. So what came back was ChatGPT says, spiritual people who believe in fairies tend to view them not as fantasy creatures, but as nature spirits or interdimensional beings with real energy and purpose. And then it breaks it down. Fairies as nature spirits, like fairies representing the earth, the air, the water, fire. Fairies as interdimensional or astral beings. Fairies thought to exist in parallel dimensions. Spiritually sensitive people are believed to sometimes see or sense fairies. Some people believe portals to the fairy realm open in sacred or liminal spaces, such as forests, mountains, stone circles. Thirdly, fairies as ancient ancestral beings, ancient spirits of the land. Fairies as teachers or tricksters. Some spiritual paths view fairies as playful, mischievous, and sometimes morally neutral. They may teach spiritual lessons about boundaries, respect, balance. Others warn against disrespecting fairy energy as it may cause energetic chaos or misfortune. And then the last bucket of belief that ChatGPT spews out here is fairies in ritual and magic. People who practice witchcraft, Wicca, or nature-based spirituality might leave offerings to fairies on altars or in gardens. They may also invoke fairy energy for magic related to creativity, abundance, or protection of nature. So again, I'm not saying that is 100% accurate. It was just the easiest way for me to look up some generic information about fairies. And based on what I do know about fairies outside of ChatGPT, that pretty much lines up with what I've heard on other people's podcasts, people who believe in fairies. I remember listening to a podcast once where the host said that she puts out offerings for fairies and she has seen fairies with her naked eye. And like I said, I don't believe in fairies, but if someone says they see them, then they see them. Now, when it comes to belief, like I think it was that first user who said, if you believe in ETs and spiritual communication, why can't you believe in fairies? Fair question. And the answer that I put on that YouTube comment, the response I made was, it just doesn't resonate for me. Just like the way that practicing runes doesn't resonate for me, but tarot cards do. or I don't necessarily believe in what's something else I don't believe in. I mean, there's so many things to believe in, and so many reasons, or maybe one reason why I just wouldn't believe in them. There's a reason I don't believe in hell. I don't believe in a bad place where spirits go. There are some psychic mediums who do believe in souls getting lost or getting punished. I don't believe in that because it doesn't resonate with me. I don't believe that an unconditionally loving God would do that to souls that God created and continues to create. So for fairies, I think that there are some stories I've heard where I think, okay, I don't know if that was a fairy. That probably was just science doing its thing. And other stories where people see fairies with their naked eye, right? And that's impressive. And how can I, unless I think that there is, maybe, unless there are some mind altering substances involved, how can I disprove that? Just like no one can really disprove how I feel spirit when I do readings. You can't really prove it or disprove it. It really is based on faith. And so just like the way I expect people to respect my faith in spirit and how I believe that extraterrestrials are real, I want to give that same respect to people. I may have my opinions and I may have my doubts and I may have my thoughts on just like, well, how can people believe in fairies? It doesn't make sense to me. That's my right to believe that, but it's not my right to disrespect people for believing in it. And I understand when people think, how can you talk to the dead? Like, it doesn't make any sense. Why? What's the reason for talking to the dead? I don't know, other than for healing. So this is the main thing I want to say with fairies. If you believe that fairies exist for the highest good of humanity, that's great. I personally don't want to believe, I wouldn't want to believe in any fairies that want to do harm. I don't believe in spirit that does harm. Now, do I believe that it can exist? Absolutely. Do I believe that fairies may exist? Yeah. I think I wouldn't say that I 100% think they're fake. Not at all. I think anything is possible. I also believe that we create our own reality. I believe that whatever I believe, I can manifest and create for myself. It's the reason that when some people die, they see different deities. I may see Jesus when I die. Maybe, I don't know. I may see the Virgin Mary. Other people may see another deity that resonates more with them that is not a Judeo-Christian figure. Why does that happen? I believe the universe shapes itself to our frame of reference, to our experience, so that we feel like we can resonate with the way we are interacting with the universe. And maybe for some people, fairies are that thing, but it's just not that for me. So that's my position on fairies. It's not really even a position. It's more just it doesn't resonate with me. And I remember one time on that podcast I was just referring to, this person was saying that they left food out for the fairies. And the next morning, the food was eaten away at. Like, someone had eaten the food, so the fairies must have eaten the food. And I thought, and I think it was like cookies. I forget what it was. But I thought, okay, let's be a little bit skeptical, because I have been in a situation where I had a rodent problem in a past New York City apartment. Have we debunked that it was that there were rodents? Could they have been bugs, ants? Like, there are different possibilities. How much of the food was eaten? Was it a little bit? Was it like a bite? A big chunk. So I think about these things, and I do the same thing with my own work with spirit. You can ask any client. Most clients can say that in a reading with spirit, I will say something, and then I'll say, in so many words, I'll say that I need something better from spirit. Now, maybe that's my own self-limitation. Maybe I'm not having enough faith in those moments, but I really want spirit to land a message that makes that person believe, or helps that person believe, rather, like, oh, wow, that is my grandmother. Because there's so many generic things I can say. So even with myself, I will make sure that what I'm getting from spirit for somebody really lands and is not something that just any medium can say about anything. And I think it's healthy to have that skepticism with all of this stuff. It's important to have faith, but it's also important to really call out when people are not being honest, just so that they can get attention. I can easily just say generic things and get all the praise for it, but that wouldn't be authentic. That wouldn't be fair. So when it comes to beliefs in fairies or beliefs in any other kind of entities, as long as you're doing it with love and you're doing it because you're believing in it, putting your faith in it because it feeds your soul and it feeds your life experience as a human being, that's all that really matters. All the rest may not even serve you. Fear-based belief, believing people's stories. I mean, there has been proof that people have faked photos of fairies. We know that. Just like there has been proof that people have faked photos of ghosts and mediumship in action. You know, the ectoplasm in physical mediumship in like a dark box in a room. Like that stuff has been faked. We know that. I know that as a medium. It doesn't mean that it's all fake. It just means that some people may be maliciously lying, or they're just not aware that there are other factors at play in their experience. I hope I haven't angered anybody, but like I said, it's all about respect. As long as everyone respects each other for what they believe in, whatever, someone told me, and I've said this before on the podcast, I will not ick your yum. If believing in something makes you feel good and excited, go at it. Who's to say that you shouldn't believe in it? Not me. So let's get to today's topic. Speaking of ChatGPT, AI, artificial intelligence, this is a hot topic for many good reasons. And I first want to say, my mother used to tell me that when the TV first came out, the household television, it was called the devil by many people. It was called demonic. TV has served a lot of good. I think about the Oprah Winfrey Show. How many beautiful stories were told on the Oprah Winfrey Show. How many lives might have been saved because those lives were watching the Oprah Winfrey Show and they got a dose of hope from stories being told. TV has also done a lot of crappy things. Reality TV shows that really don't teach us anything, that are just there to make us feel good because other people are struggling through something. Voyeurism. So, as if everything in life, every tool we have at our disposal as human beings can be used for good or can be used for not so good. And I believe this very same exact thing about artificial intelligence. I work in my day job in an industry that is adjacent to the education sector, and there's a lot of talk about artificial intelligence in the classroom. It's helping kids cheat. It's helping kids not put in the work. Okay, well, I remember when I was a kid, and we had calculators, there were some thoughts about calculators. We shouldn't need to use calculators for math because we're not really learning how to do things. I feel pretty comfortable with my math skills. And also, kids have always been cheating in class, regardless of whether there's a digital device involved or not. I remember seeing it in class myself, right in front of me. So kids are always going to find ways. There are always going to be some kids who find ways to cheat, regardless of what the tool or the device is or the method. With that being said, how about we focus on ways to help kids enhance their learning with AI? And this is how I'm going to approach the topic of AI and psychic readings and spirituality. Questions like, can you get a psychic reading from ChatGPT? Can you get some really beautiful information about yourself as a soul being through ChatGPT? Can you replace a psychic with ChatGPT? Just yesterday, I was on a call, a non-spirit related group event online, where this person who happens to be very spiritual said that he looks up his horoscope on ChatGPT. And he was saying that, this can, you don't even need a psychic. You have ChatGPT. And I went, ooh, wait, let me say a little something in the chat. And I put in the chat something like, ChatGPT, as I said at the beginning of this podcast, folks, ChatGPT is a collection of information across the World Wide Web and other sources. It's like a superhuman who goes to the library. You ask that superhuman a question, and that superhuman goes into a library of all the information in the world, and grabs the right 10 books and gets passages from each book and then puts it in front of you in 10 seconds. That's kind of like how ChatGPT works, based on how I've learned about how it works. And I've done some training training is a big word, but like I've watched a seminar on how publicists, because I work as a publicist, how publicists are using AI for media pitching and working with the media and putting together story ideas. And that's what I learned through this seminar. That's my understanding of something like ChatGPT. So when you are asking your ChatGPT tool to give you your horoscope for Cancer for today, it's going to pull from different sources. It's not really doing the thinking on its own. It's pulling from different sources from different places. That's really helpful though. It's really great. I mean, I just used it to look up beliefs in fairies, but like with anything on the internet, take it with somewhat of a grain of salt. And I told this person that through the chat too. You have to be very aware when you're using AI tools because it is collecting a bunch of information and it's not really telling you whether that information is accurate or inaccurate. I've seen some TikTok videos where people look up ChatGPT. They do search queries on ChatGPT and it comes back with completely wrong, obviously wrong information about something. So be very aware when you're using ChatGPT. It's like what they used to say, do your research. Look up the citations, which people don't do anymore. Cross-check, fact-check. ChatGPT is not cross-checking, fact-checking for you. It's trying to, but it's not always doing its best. So when it comes to things like horoscopes, sure. I think it's a great way to get your horoscope is through ChatGPT because it's going to collect from different astrological sources about what it is to be a Cancer on July XYZ 2025. What it means for you today to navigate career as a Cancer. I keep using the Cancer example because I think we're in Leo now, but anyways, I should use Gemini. I'm a Gemini. Use ChatGPT for that. I think when you're using ChatGPT to collect information about psychic work or to collect information that is obviously very studied, and astrology is based on so much written information and information in the stars. Like these are things that are a little more concrete. Something else I highly suggest you do that I did recently, I think I learned this from, I forgot who I learned this from. I feel so bad because it was such a good idea. I told ChatGPT something like, give me the future. Give me a version of my future that looks like this and tell me the ways or the things I need to do to get there based on my current circumstance, which is this financial circumstance, this and that. And ChatGPT returned a really beautiful narrative story about what Juan is doing in 5 to 10 years based on what I inputted about what I want to do in 5 to 10 years and how to get there. And it was amazing. And it's almost like a technological way to manifest your dreams. And so I thought that was really powerful. So if you want to find a really cool way to have something generate an idea of your dream on paper, so to speak, or right in front of you, use ChatGPT. So let's say you want to become a tarot reader with a thriving business in 5 years. Say, hi, ChatGPT. I don't know how you start it. Today I'm doing a random career out there. Today I'm a school teacher, and I really want to become a full-time tarot reader by the year 2030. And I want to have 6 clients a week. I want to have a social media platform that doesn't have to have a lot of followers, but keeps my business going and helps people find me and my business. And I want to get my first, condominium because of this business. I want to move to this city and state. Please tell me, how can I get there? Do it in a story format. And it will tell you all these steps. And whether they're realistic or not, that's for you to determine. That's up to you. Because again, ChatGPT is not perfect. But it was very cool when I did it for myself. So I highly recommend that. Now, can ChatGPT give you a tarot card reading based on a life circumstance that you're going through? It can, with some caveats. If you go to ChatGPT saying, I'm having trouble with my boss at work, can you give me some guidance on how to navigate that by pulling some tarot cards? I think there's some things that ChatGPT will assume based on you asking that question. Lots of people have issues with their boss. There are lots of articles, lots of blogs out there about how to navigate your relationship with your boss. And ChatGPT might pull from some of those sources in addition to giving you a tarot card reading, just saying, hey, I have the Empress card, and this means lean in more into your femininity, and which means maybe take a softer approach with your boss, like attract bees with honey with your boss, whatever it may be. What ChatGPT won't do, and this is the same case for a psychic mediumship reading, connecting with the departed, it's not going to pick up on the nuances. An example. When I do a mediumship reading for somebody, and I keep using this example in some podcasts with other people that I've had, where at the beginning of the reading, I told the person, I see cars going around in a circle, in a circle, in a circle, in a circle, only to find out that this soul who had departed loved cars and liked going to see car races. Is that something that ChatGPT would pick up? Is that something that would be documented on paper somewhere on the internet that this person's grandfather used to love going to the racetrack to see cars? Or if I tell someone that, right after your mom passed, you stepped outside and you saw a bluebird or you saw some kind of bird. Oh my gosh, yes, I saw an eagle. That's not something I believe ChatGPT can pick up on to give you solid validation that your loved one is really around you and looking out for you. Same thing goes with a psychic reading where there may be some details about your life experience that ChatGPT won't pick up on because it's not aware of the intimate moments in your life where you're just talking to people one-on-one. Unless you're talking to someone through text or on the phone and somehow AI on your phone listens to it. I don't know. But let's say there are experiences you have that you see two white butterflies one day and you feel your grandmother, and a psychic medium asks you did you experience something with butterflies the other day? That's not something AI can tap into. And this is why AI cannot replace a psychic reading or a mediumship reading. There are so many nuances and so many little details that come up in readings, I think, in good readings. This is what makes them good readings, that technology just is not experiencing with you on a day-to-day, hour-to-hour basis. When I've asked people, like, have you seen your husband in soul form? And they say yes. How would ChatGPT know that? How would ChatGPT know that you've seen a ghost? That you've seen the soul of your departed father at the foot of your bed one night, greeting you to say hello? How would it know that? So be very cautious when using ChatGPT to get psychic readings. One time I did, just for shiggles, if you know what I mean. I asked ChatGPT if it could channel the soul of my late grandmother, and it said, I can't do that, but here are some resources. So I guess ChatGPT, for now, even knows that it can't do that. Now, if I want ChatGPT to say, hey, my grandmother was Martha Washington. I don't know. I don't know why I said that name. My grandmother was not Martha Washington. I would be like Benjamin Button or like have lived a long life if that were the case. My grandmother was Martha Washington, born in 18 whatever. Can you, I don't know, give me something on her. It will probably look up some census information, some demographic data that's already out there on the web. I mean, heck, I can look up people's names and my own name. I've tried this on myself and find past addresses where I've lived. So if you want a kind of reading that just gives you a bunch of data about a person, ChatGPT may be your thing. But if you want something deeper than that, which I think is what a reading should be, much deeper than just demographic, governmental information, their age, their birthday, where they live, the street they lived on, that's where you go and see a live human being, a psychic medium or a psychic. Have you ever gotten a reading on AI? Have you ever gotten a reading from a medium who used AI? Because that's also a thing. Some readers are mixing AI into the readings that they do. There is someone's website She's really popular. She doesn't do ads anymore. I don't even know if she's even real, but her name is Samara, I think. And Hannah McIntyre on Mediumship Matters podcast mentioned this, and it made me look it up. Where in the privacy policy on this psychic's website, it says that there may be use of artificial intelligence to provide in the products provided. And I'm thinking, well, what would that look like? Because this seems to be like a real person. I don't think this is a fake person doing readings. But how are you mixing AI into your readings? Is it the way you look, like a filter that's making you look prettier, younger? Is it a background? Is it in what you're saying? Like, is it making up things with your voice? Like, what does it look like? So I think those things should be very clear, and I'm glad it's in that person's privacy policy. But let's be honest. Does anybody read privacy policies? So let me know. Have you ever gotten a reading from a psychic or medium that had AI included in it? And what did that feel like? What did that look like? And I know there's also an AI tool out there that is spiritually focused. And I forgot what it's called. The Solely podcast mentioned it. And I need to look it up and try it out. But it similarly gave that person, this podcast host, a bunch of tips for how to spiritually grow. And it kind of gave them a reading, and they said it was beautiful, and he's kind of obsessed with it. Shout out to the Solely podcast. It's a great podcast. So let me know. Let me know if you've ever had that experience with AI and spirituality. And what do you think about it? Do you think AI could replace a psychic? Don't be shy. I won't get mad. I'm really curious. Because I think it's going to be... not many people are talking about it a whole bunch in spiritual world, psychic world, but it's definitely going to become more of a topic, I think, in the years to come as AI becomes more popularized. It's already popularized, but you know what I mean, as it becomes more rampant and people use it more often in different parts of their life. I use ChatGPT quite often to make my life a little easier, sometimes to do the thinking for me, but it's more about asking ChatGPT to connect different dots in my head together, and not so much that I'm replacing my own learning of things with ChatGPT. And maybe there's a way we can incorporate that into spirituality. I kind of already did. Try the manifestation trick on ChatGPT. It's great. I promise you. It's really cool. Let me know what you think. And just a reminder that on September... I forgot the date already. I think on the 12th... How could I forget the date? In mid-September, y'all, I am doing a group mediumship reading just for the podcast, and it's completely free. So just go to juanfranciscospirit.com/podcast group and sign up if you want to be part of that mediumship group. It's going to be really great. I'm going to record it. No edits. If I get things wrong, I get things wrong. And you get to be part of that beautiful experience. And I'm excited to see what readings I can give to people that are really heartfelt and hopefully healing. So I'll see you at that mediumship group if you'd like to join it. juanfranciscospirit.com/podcast group. And I will see you on the next episode. Thanks. Follow the podcast and please leave a review. If you want me to talk about a specific subject on the podcast or you have a question for the podcast, go to juanfranciscospirit.com and go to my contact page and submit that question.